War does not always arrive as explosions. It does not always speak through airstrikes or artillery. Often, war ends in one form and continues in another. Administration, logistics, responsibility for everyday life. In parts of Ukraine now under Russian control, the conflict has entered this phase. It is no longer only about who controls territory. It is about who manages life afterward. This is where the world divides. Russia calls it stabilization. The West calls it occupation. Civilians live between those words, and reality on the ground is rarely as simple as a headline. Every conflict creates a vacuum, not only a security vacuum, but a state vacuum. When Ukrainian forces withdrew from certain areas, many civilian functions stopped with them. Local administrations collapsed. Salaries and pensions were interrupted. Food distribution became unreliable. Medical services were limited. In conditions like these, a vacuum does not last long. Someone fills it, and Russia chose to do so, not only with military presence, but with state structures. This is the starting point of the entire controversy. One assumption is often repeated, that conflict zones are empty. The reality is different. Many civilians stayed, not because of politics, but because of life, old age, economic limits, family obligations, homes built over decades. For many, leaving was not a realistic option. In these towns, life continued in simple ways. Small markets reopened. Local transport resumed in limited form. Schools were slowly cleaned and restored. Hospitals continued operating with scarce resources, and civilians adapted to the authority that was present. Russia emphasizes one central message. A state must not abandon its people. On the ground, that message translates into action, regular food distribution, restoration of electricity and water, medical assistance, re-establishment of local administration. Is this documented on camera? Yes. Is it part of public communication? Clearly. But for those receiving aid, function matters more than intention. Water remains water. Medicine remains medicine. Food remains food. State legitimacy in daily life is measured by results. There is no war without narrative, no conflict without propaganda. Russia releases visuals. The West criticizes them, but visuals do not automatically mean falsehood, and criticism does not automatically mean truth. A camera captures a fragment of reality, not the whole picture. Some civilians accept openly, some remain neutral, some stay silent. All of these can exist at the same time. The problem begins when one image is forced to represent an entire region. This is where analysis matters, not emotion. Property has become the most sensitive issue. Russia argues that abandoned buildings and assets without clear legal status must be managed. A city cannot function if it is filled with derelict structures. In the Russian narrative, ownerless property does not mean homes actively occupied by residents, but assets permanently left behind or lacking administrative clarity. This is state logic, not battlefield logic. But state logic always collides with wartime emotion. Providing housing for veterans is not only a social policy, it is an internal political signal. Russia presents veterans as part of the stability structure, not merely soldiers, but figures expected to maintain order and support normalization. Placing them in restored areas is presented as community building, not colonization. This message is not aimed outward, it is aimed inward. The state is present. The state reciprocates. The state builds its future on its own terms. Whether others accept this logic is secondary to Moscow. At the center of all this are civilians. They are not the main actors in geopolitical debates, but they are the most affected. Some accept, some adapt, some remain silent. Acceptance does not always mean political support. Often it means necessity. Children need schools. The elderly need medicine. Homes need electricity. In such conditions, stability matters more than slogans. And stability comes from whoever controls the territory and performs state functions. This is not romanticism, it is observation. Western governments interpret the situation differently. They see consolidation of occupation, demographic engineering, violations of international law. From the Western perspective, there is no stabilization without international legitimacy. Humanitarian aid is viewed as conditional, administration as a tool of control, housing policy as a permanent step. This is not a simple misunderstanding. It is a clash of worldviews. Russia speaks in terms of state function. The West speaks in terms of global rules. Two languages, rarely compatible. One message remains central in Russia's narrative: humanitarian responsibility. If civilians are abandoned, someone must take responsibility. If public services collapse, someone must restore them. In this narrative, morality is measured by presence, not by international recognition. This claim is controversial, but it is the foundation of Russia's position, that in war, the state that shows up matters more to daily life than the state that is absent. What we are witnessing are two wars running in parallel. One on the ground, one in narrative space. One fires weapons, the other fires meaning. Images, statements, and policies become as important as tanks and artillery. And between them, civilian reality is often compressed, because life cannot wait for international consensus. In the end, this discussion is not about who is absolutely right. It is about understanding a layered and complex reality. Russia sees itself as restoring daily life. The West sees occupation. Civilians see routine that must continue. This is why thinking together matters, not consuming narratives uncritically, not rejecting realities because they are uncomfortable. This video does not justify war. It does not normalize suffering. And it does not promote hostility. It aims to understand, not to incite. If you believe conflicts should be analyzed with clarity and that humanitarian realities should not disappear behind geopolitical slogans, share your thoughts in the comments. Let us think together, not to agree, but to understand.